Hello, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever your time zone is. How are you today? I hope and pray that you're having a wonderful day, a beautiful day, and a blessed day. Make your day beautiful and happy. Today, I'd like to share with you how to make this yummy, fluffy, tasty homemade bread in using a bread maker. If you would like to know how to make it, keep on watching. So for this bread, you need 6 ingredients: 1 cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 3 cups of bread or all-purpose flour, and 1.5 teaspoon of dry fast-acting yeast. So for your ingredient, first you pour in your wet ingredient first. You need 1 cup of milk of your choice, 2 tablespoons of oil of your choice, 2 tablespoons of sugar or honey, half a teaspoon of salt, three cups of bread or all-purpose flour, and lastly, 1.5 teaspoon of fast-acting instant yeast. The yeast should go in last, and I usually like to make a small dent on my flour so the yeast doesn't mix with the water and start acting right away. putting in all your ingredients, put the baking pan back in the bread maker machine and turn it clockwise to make sure it clicks in well. Then on the baking option, select the basic setting number 1. Most of these bread maker machines, the basic option setting is usually number 1, and then select the 1.5 pound loaf setting option. And then you pick the color of your crust to your taste. You eat maybe light, medium, or dark crust. For this setting, I selected the light one. Then press the start button. And then you come back in about 3 hours, and a nice fresh yummy loaf of bread will be waiting for you. Make sure you push your bread maker way back in to avoid it from falling. Because when it's turning, sometimes it vibrates and it might be moving. But most of like mine that I'm using, the Roseville one, has a good sturdy bottom. So most of them have a good sturdy bottom. That wouldn't happen. But just for peace of mind, I usually like to move it way back in. Make sure you move it way back in on your kitchen counter or whatever surface you choose to use. So while the dough is mixing, I like to use a kitchen table knife to just swipe the flour that is stuck to the pan. Just swipe it in so that the dough can pick everything. Most times it will though, it does pick everything. But again, for me, for peace of mind, I just like to make sure that all my flour is in and nice mixing. And another thing is sometimes I enjoy watching the dough mix. I just enjoy the noise, the natural noise and rhythm of the dough. I like to watch it mix. So while the dough is mixing, you're free actually, you can open and just watch it mix. But once the dough is done mixing and it starts rising, please do not open the lid because it might affect the temperature, the warmth that it needs to rise. So you can see how nicely my dough is mixing together. See how nice and clean the pan is? This is how I love to see my dough mix. These bread maker machines, they really do a great job, They do a really good job. It makes life so easy, Just look at how nicely the dough looks. So here I'm going to leave it, cover it up and leave it, to keep on mixing. So here you can see that my dough is done mixing and it's starting to rise. Look at how nicely the dough is rising. Most times you can see it. You can see how it's rising through the window. Please do not open the lid once the dough is rising. From the moment the dough is finished mixing and is rising to the time it starts baking, please do not open the lid. to keep the temperature because it might affect the temperature. So look at how nice, look at that. Look at how nicely the dough is rising. Now my bread is done rising and nicely baked. This machine is awesome. I'm telling you, this machine makes life so easy. All you need to do is put in your ingredients. It mixes everything. It makes the dough. And then you have your bread. So remember, I picked a light setting. If you pick a medium or dark setting, definitely your bread will look darker. So once it's done, just turn the pan to the left anti-clockwise and put it on a cooling rack. The reason why you put it on a cooling rack, is to make sure to make sure that your bread cools down nicely, and so that also your bread does not, because as it's cooling down, it will release some moisture, so you don't want your bread to be wet and get unpleasantly soggy. So it's important to put it on a cooling rack. Look at how nice, look at that bread. So nice and fluffy. If you want your crust to be darker, all you need to do is to pick the medium or the dark crust. But I picked a lighter crust because I like my bread to be lighter. So look at that. Look at how beautiful it is. So all you need to do now is just to leave it on the cooling rack to cool down a little bit before you cut it open. And remember to use a mitten to bring it out because the pan will be very hot when you're bringing it out of the bread maker machine. Just look at that bread. After your bread is done cooling, now you can slice it to your desired size, to your desired taste, or you can just dive in however you like to cut your bread. Some people like to cut it nicely with a knife. Some people just like to dive in with their hands. There's really no rule about how you enjoy your bread with your family, really. So you can see how beautiful and easy and fluffy and soft and yummy this bread looks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you're going to try this bread with your family. And you can use any flour of your choice. You can make amendments to your taste. What all that matters is you baking and enjoying the foods you love. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you stay blessed and healthy this season. Be well, be blessed, stay beautiful, keep your smile on, stay encouraged, do not give up, do not be discouraged, keep on moving, keep on healing. For me, one of the processes of my healing right now at the moment after my chemotherapy is doing the